Oh. I'm taking a picture of the photographer. 1, 2, 3. Nice work.
This mask is Ramin's new mask, especially for the 25th anniversary, which we've altered slightly from his existing mask, because it's always kind of good to play with details, really. And also the makeup's changed a little bit, and the mask has to fit exactly over the makeup. From a performance point of view, it has to do that, but also from a technical sound point of view, from his microphones and things, it has to sort of look good. And it also very much has to enhance Ramin's face, in that the idea is that the Phantom has tried to make himself look extraordinarily attractive and masculine and handsome. And so his way of doing it is the mask. And the original concept of this, which came from Maria Bjornsson, was that because of the period, he'd actually made this in fine porcelain. Although technically, of course, we don't use porcelain. That's the overall image of the thing, that he's made this mask particularly to make himself, to hide this gruesome sort of distortion in the rest of his face. We also spend a lot of time making sure that the shape of the mask works really well as a sculptural item in itself, because at the point where Christine pulls the mask off, it becomes an object in itself. It's no longer a mask, it's also a sculptural object.
Today's our first rehearsal. We open in less than 2 weeks, actually. We open on Saturday. So we're doing this 25th anniversary concert at Royal Albert Hall. I play Christine Daae. Really excited. Well, she's definitely a dream role for a lot of girls, and she was definitely a dream role for me. And I was very lucky that I got to do the show. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
I've played the role in town for 2 years, but obviously because it's to get it right for the DVD, it's never been this intricate, and so much time spent on it, and the amount of makeup. As you can see, it's starting to crack. But it's a cool process. It helps with everything, you know, to get your head around it. Great, you know, to have Chris Tucker do it too, the original guy. I'm really looking forward to watching him do it. It's so detailed, and to do this occasion, I'm so grateful for, and really excited to put my take on it. So to start the rehearsals, go through this process with Chris Tucker on my birthday, it's a good one.
Hi, I'm Cameron McIntosh, and in the wonderful Ealing Studios, those amazing historic film studios, where we are putting Phantom of the Opera together for our 25th anniversary. It couldn't be a more perfect place, and quite amazing to see so many people from the show's history and new people who've been in the production to make this one-off event with over 130 people in the cast and a glorious orchestra that you can hear next door. And only 3 days to go, so I'm excited, but nervously excited.
Well, today is the last run that we have in the room. For the last 10 days, we've been staging, putting the whole production together, getting people from different companies in at different times. And yesterday was the first time we actually sort of put all the scenes together, just to sort of see how one led into another. Today was the first time we ran it from start to finish, just to sort of see where the holes are. After this, we go into a Sitzprobe rehearsal, so we hear it with the orchestra. So at this stage now, we start to combine all the elements that will build it to the extravaganza that we hope it will be.
Behold, she is singing to bring down the chandelier!
What all this is about, it's about seeing the auction before you hoik it up.
I was part of the original crew who put it into Her Majesty's Theatre. I was one of the production electricians working with Andy Bridge, the lighting designer, and building things for the show then as they wanted them. Well, they wanted a chandelier, obviously. You need one for Phantom of the Opera, and quite a big one for the Albert Hall. And we talked about it a while ago, but only recently they decided they really needed us to build one, so we did. There were a few snags given the time, trying to get everything, all the 40,000 beads, globes, steel, laser cutting and things, and getting it into the buildings. It was built to break into pieces to fit in a 40-foot trailer. But on Friday night we had to dismantle the front of the stage to get access to the main elevators in the Albert Hall to get all the sections together, and then we were able to lift it up piece by piece and bolt it all together, ready for Saturday morning's technical rehearsal before the show on Saturday night. About midnight before we got in, and at 5 o'clock we'd done a pyro test and we're having a cup of tea.
I don't think the Royal Albert Hall has ever seen anything like this. I mean, 15 years ago I did do the 10th anniversary of Les Miserables there, but it was a little small production in comparison to this. I mean, when Andrew and I decided that the best way to celebrate the 25th anniversary was to put on the show rather than do a concert, and we both thought that the Albert Hall would be the perfect venue. It was one of those marvellous ideas which seemed so right, and of course we wanted the greatest cast in the world, and we've got that. We wanted a marvellous orchestra, but the reality of what my creative team have managed to pull together to turn this beautiful Victorian concert hall into a proper theatrical space, because we are doing the whole complete show. And of course our version will be different in some ways, but is absolutely inspired by the brilliant original of Hal Prince and Gillian Lynn, which is still currently running to packed houses at Her Majesty's Theatre. But alas, of course, our amazing original designer Maria Wilson sadly died several years ago, though Matt Kingley, our new designer, who's picked up the baton and lovingly taken what Maria created and come up with this extraordinary an unbelievably spectacular rendition of the original show, which I think is going to be 2 terrific nights and something that I will always treasure.
I've been involved with Phantom of the Opera for 25 years. Maria Björnsson and myself designed all the lighting and effects, and we've been improving it for 25 years, and it's still running, thank goodness. Over the years, we have tried to keep it the same, actually, because the language of doing Phantom in the Paris Opera of the 1800s is all gas, footlights, mystery, darkness, and actually it's not a modern image anyway, so we aren't in a modern world, and so some of the languages of the lighting, the darkness is our friend, and we use the darkness, whereas modern shows it's a lot brighter and a bit more brash, but actually we keep the show very fresh by keeping it old looking.
They found a good formula in 1986 and they've stuck to it, which is good news.
Yeah. Beauty.
It differs because it's a very different space. So the space is challenging. It isn't a theatre as such, it's a hall, and therefore you have to create your own theatre within the space that you're playing in. And of course, therefore, there's no hanging, so you can't just have drapes hanging. And so we've kind of taken the mood of what the original piece was, and with modern technology such as projection and video screen, it gives us the sort of face that we can sort of play the colours of what the production is. And then sort of bring the chorus and the ensemble and the story forward of that. So it has a much more sort of rock and roll concert-style energy to it, but it's fully staged.
My background is in making big rock concerts and big musical shows and big architectural statements, television and film ones particularly. It's the same discipline, you know, you're lighting something, you're taking a piece of action or a book or a story or an opera, you're illustrating it with light. We're lighting three things. We're lighting the action on stage and there's big company. We're lighting the scenery, which is enormous, and we're lighting the audience. And we're lighting all those in a kind of seamless, integrated way. So yeah, it's quite a lot of lights, but there's a lot of everything, to be fair.
Absolutely wonderful experience. Wouldn't miss it for the world. Incredible.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's electrifying.
We're having a fabulous time. Just all the exits and entrances all change, but don't worry.
I was there right at the beginning. I'm one of the original creatives. It's been very hard for my department because, as you can see, getting on and off the Albert Hall when you have no wings, as you have in a theatre, getting on and off rather tricky entrances. One is down a staircase, another one is literally like the width of a snake. That's been a problem. And on top of that, we've got 135 people, whereas in the show we have, I think, about 48. We also have the most wonderful boy from Covent Garden called Sergei Polunin for the leading dancer. So naturally, getting someone of that caliber, I've kind of built it up for him. As far as I can, though, you can't do a hell of a lot because, you know, it is so massive, there are so many people, the space is a little bit difficult, but on the other hand, some scenes look absolutely incredible in the space.
There you go, we're doing a duet.
It's funny now.
Yeah, pretty warmed up, yeah. I think it's warmed out, actually, is the phrase I'm looking for.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's the best place in the world to perform. It really is. It just wraps you up. It's like a one big hug out there. It's fantastic.
The original cast.
I know, original cast.
And
creative.
Hold on. Remember? Best size.
We've still got a slight mountain to climb. We've got loads of work to do tomorrow, but you know, this is the nature of these things. It's crazy and euphoric, and all of those emotions that go with that. So
our fight now is that we've got like a day, really. That's all we have got, a day. Tomorrow night, about this time, people will be coming in. So I don't think any of us have slept for quite a time. And I'd be lying if I said we weren't stressed. We are stressed, but we're happy. I mean, we're enjoying it. If you can work on a score for 25 years and still find it ravishing, it says it must be pretty wonderful, doesn't it?
It's kind of manic. I guess we're all getting prepared for tonight, which is the live filming, but it's going well. A couple of little things happened, but it's okay. I'd rather happen this afternoon than later on.
It's incredible. And I've got a family watching back in the States as well, which is amazing.
Yes, I designed it right at the outset for Michael Crawford, that's right. And that was, 25, no, more than that, of course, because I was started sometime before the production, obviously. So it's almost 26 years, I think. Because I'd done The Elephant Man, they were thinking in terms of something fairly distorted or human, something like maybe an injury or so. You know, when people have strokes and things like that, one side of their faces may be paralysed, so they always try and straighten, you know, when they're talking to you, they try not to look paralysed, don't they? You know, they're trying to work against the deformity. So I thought, well, if I can make his lip, pull his lip up by, you know, some ligaments that have contracted like that, like it would do in, say, a major burn, this will give him some sort of thing to work against. There's a bald cap, a plastic, like a bathing hat that keeps his hair down and enables us to stick everything else. He's in the chair for, well, it's been probably just under an hour as far as the makeup's concerned. Up here, I wanted something that was going to register right at the back, so we made a sort of great big crater with a bone showing. Ramin's version is an improved version. It's the Mark IV, I think. There we are.
We're in the middle of a show. Let's go!
Oh, my glasses, sorry.
I'm here, are we?
Maria Bjornsson designed the show. Obviously, she did that 25 years ago, and we've stuck to her original designs as much as we possibly can. We've kept all the same sort of looks for all the different characters. Obviously, they've got to be tweaked to suit each individual, because obviously not everybody looks the same. But on the most part of it, we've stuck to the same overall look for all of them. With this, we wanted to keep that theatrical feel, but obviously it's being filmed, it's cinema release in HD, so obviously we had to do a different type of makeup. See, theatrical makeup's a little bit different from that.
Basically because we've had a cast of, I think, 140-ish for this production, whereas usually we've got about 40, so that's 100 extra costumes. I know we shipped out of Her Majesty's Theatre probably about 130 of our costumes, but within the store, I would have thought from from countries that we borrowed them from, there was probably at least another 200. Of the 140 people in it, they were in at least 3 scenes, I think, everyone. So it's a lot of costumes to deal with. We've had stuff from Argentina, Germany, New York. It wasn't just the costumes, we're talking about hats, shoes, tights, jewellery. People in boxes, the audience, to look like Victorian audience, so they all had to have the jewellery, the fans, the gloves.
The idea of putting on a production like this in the short amount of time that we have is hard enough. The added pressure of sort of filming it and giving cinema audiences close-ups of what we're doing whilst we're in performance with an audience watching us is a little scary, but by the same token it allows an audience outside of the 4 walls to appreciate and see what it is that we're doing right there and then. It's raw. It's wonderful. It's about as live as it gets.
M-Y...
F5.
We're rolling. We're rolling.
Now we're on.
Look at that. Right when I was going to get Andrew Lloyd Webber just joshing around. A little horse. Okay, it's definitely not.
There you go. You've got to see it.
Well done, Remy.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Was it the right foot?
Okay.